Hi, welcome back to Sunday School. I'm Denise Farnsworth. I'll be sharing this week's lesson with you. This is a special time in our church called Advent, and it's the 4 weeks of Sundays before Christmas. During that time, the church does some activities to celebrate the waiting that comes in preparation for Jesus' birthday at Christmas. And sometimes people make lists, Christmas lists during that time. And this book is about that. It is called I Want It All. It is written by Barbara Saletti and illustrated by Kathy Morrison. It is dedicated to children, young and old, who realize that the greatest gift of Christmas is not under the tree, but in the heart. This is a story for Advent. It tells of the adventures of a bug called Morrissey and the lessons learned by a young boy named Benjamin Getz. When we are children, and even as adults, we can sometimes forget about the true meaning of Advent. Its historic beginnings will help us remember. Every year, as Advent draws near, the world awaits the Feast of the Nativity. In the East, shepherds look to the heavens and remember an event that quietly changed the world more than 2,000 years ago. After centuries of waiting, God fulfilled his promise of a Messiah, and Jesus was born. Around the world, Advent is a season of prayer, of giving, and waiting to celebrate the coming of the Lord. It is also a season of song, family tradition, and eager anticipation for the joy that comes with Christmas Day. One Advent, not so long ago, everyone in the Getz family, or almost everyone, got into the spirit of giving. Benjamin's mom and dad began to decorate their home for the holidays. Graham filled food baskets for poor families, and Gramps cut extra firewood for a neighbor. Benjamin was busy too. He was making a list of gifts, and all of them were for him. In fact, his lists were already twice as long as last year's list, and he was just getting started. Mom said, Benjamin, Christmas is a time to receive gifts, yes, but most of all, this is a time to appreciate what we already have and to think of how we can share that with others. This is the season when we think about giving, not just getting. Have you thought of what you might like to do for your sister Kate, for instance? Why should I? Benjamin grumbled. Kate already plays with all of my toys. She even gets as many pancakes as I do at breakfast. This time I want more toys for me, and she isn't going to play with any of them. Just then Gramps walked into the kitchen. Hey, buddy, I've got some firewood ready to deliver. I thought we could take it over to the shed and then give you and Kate a ride back home. Sound like fun? Yes, said Kate, but Benjamin wasn't interested. Thanks, Gramps, but I really want to work on my wish list. Gramps gave Ben a long look. Okay, buddy, just be careful of the bug. Benjamin worked on his list again that night. I wonder what Gramps meant about a bug. I'll just ask him tomorrow. I want it all. The next morning, Ben was brushing his teeth and almost thought he saw a big bug flying around in the bathroom. He blinked, but it was gone. Later on that evening, Ben climbed into bed and gazed at the sky outside his window. Christmas morning was just a few days away, and he kept thinking of the trucks, the basketball, and all the new toys he wanted. And then he thought for sure he saw some sort of bug again. But I must be really tired. Better get some sleep. The next morning, Ben awoke to the sound of something moving in his room. He opened his eyes to the scariest, creepiest bug he had ever seen in his life, and it was looking right back at him. Yikes! Ben ran into the kitchen where Gramps was having coffee. Gramps, help! There's a monster in my room. Gramps' eyes twinkled. That so? What does it look like? It's big, with a green speckled body and wings and these huge blue eyes just looking at me. Buddy, the Morrissey bug found you. It comes alive during the Christmas season and bites people who are never satisfied with what they have. People who want more, more, and more. That's how the bug gets its name, but it's pretty much another word for greed, and it looks for selfish people so that it can be with its own kind. How can I make it go away? Asked Ben. Well, there's no bug spray for Morrissey bug. You can't chase it off. But if you start to appreciate your family, our home, and all the great gear that's already up in your room, you might have a chance. Besides, better still, let's work on the list of presents you want to give instead of get, and Morrissey will be gone in a hurry. Ben trailed back to his room. He felt scared and nervous and very alone. He thought of seeing the Morrissey bug again, and the thought of it made him sick to his stomach. Ben picked up his list. A bicycle? Well, he already had one. A new computer? Why, he had one of those too. Rollerblades? Same thing. He thought of the first Christmas. Baby Jesus had nothing. And he changed the world. Then Ben did something rather surprising. He threw his list away. The next day, Ben went with his dad to deliver cookies to the neighbors. He even helped Kate with a puzzle. That night, he looked for the Morrissey bug everywhere. Under the bed, outside the window, no Morrissey. The last few days of Advent passed quickly, and when Christmas Eve finally arrived, Ben felt warm and happy inside. He especially hoped that Kate would like her present. She loved to play with his favorite steam engine, and Ben cleaned it up and painted Kate on the side of the car. Morrissey bug was losing ground. Christmas morning dawned, and Ben's family celebrated Christmas services and then went home to open presents. Ben glowed as he watched Mom, Dad, Graham, and Gramps, and especially Kate, open the gifts he made for them. Gramps spied Ben. "How's it going, buddy? Did you get rid of that bug?" "Yes. Morrissey bug's nowhere around. I feel much better, Gramps." "Thanks. This is the best Christmas ever." Benjamin's cure from Morrissey bug bites. Think about the first Christmas and be joyful for your life. Don't be awake with lists you make in the dark hours of the night. Morrissey bug will take the hint and find someone else to bite. Have you seen a Morrissey bug around? Our craft activity this week talks about some gifts that don't cost any money. And you'll find some coloring pages on the link that talk about kindness, hope. How could you give somebody hope? Peace, the dove of peace. A coloring page for our faith, maybe sharing your belief in God and Jesus with somebody. Love. Loving our family, loving ourselves, loving our neighbors. And the gift of being grateful. Maybe saying thank you to somebody for something they've done or just for being your friend. So we hope you can open those up and color them. You can make small ones that can go in the form of a postcard to send to somebody, or larger ones that maybe you could put in your window for all the people to see that might be walking by. That's been sort of a tradition as we're working through this time of COVID, so that people can see some positive messages in your window. So if you want to send a picture of one that you've done, perhaps we can get it into the church newsletter. We'd love to see some of your artwork. So we hope you enjoy that, and we'll see you next week.